Hi, welcome back. This is the program that we just looked at where we made functions to run our bouncy ball program. You can see all the functions down there on the bottom, and inside the draw loop we can see we're calling each of these functions. We're going to come over here and we're going to click a new tab. I'll call that ball with an uppercase, and this is where we're going to define our class. We finally get to use the new tab. Make sure your class is lowercase c, and then ball will be uppercase. And now I'm going to define or declare all of my class variables. These will be available to use anywhere inside this class. Don't worry too much about the vocabulary sounding weird right now. It's just going to keep sounding weird for a while. All right, what I'm doing right now is I'm starting an instance of a ball. And this is going to look just like a function from before. We're going to have parameters that will be inputs whenever we create a ball object. And so this ball object, when we create one, it will expect 2 integers. And we're using temp there because we're just going to temporarily store the value that we bring in. And now what I'm doing is I'm inside this little spot here, I'm going to create real variables where we'll now store those temporary values. I know it's weird, but you'll kind of get used to it over time. And so now xpos and ypos, this is where I'm going to store those temporary values that we'll put in later. And now I'll go ahead and I'll initialize the velocity variables both just to 1. Remember, keep everything really simple right now. Okay, and those are all of the instance variables. And then down below there, but above that last closed curly brace, we're going to store what we call the methods of the class. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to take all of these functions down here and we'll put them inside the class so that different ball objects get to use them. And we'll just take all these things and we'll just take them one at a time. I'll just cut each one, and we're going to move it into the ball class. All right, and this will work just like having functions before, but now each ball object will be able to behave according to these different methods. I'll go ahead and put in some documentation. And then I'll bring the other functions over. And functions, when they're inside of a class, we call them methods. But they should behave the same way, roughly. Okay, I'll just bring this last one over. I have to make sure I get the whole thing. All right, and you see me putting it before that last closed curly brace. That's important. That last closed curly brace has to enclose all of the methods. And I'll just paste it right in. Notice I haven't changed anything. These methods are all the same functions that we had before. All right, now it looks like we're still calling these functions, but they do not exist in this program anymore. And you can see that down below. All right, the function display does not exist. And we can use the same text in just a moment, but for now I'm going to comment everything out that's underlined in red so that we can move forward in our program without feeling like we're making a bunch of mistakes. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a ball object. Just like I declare, oh yeah, and those variables up there, I just deleted those. We don't need them anymore. Okay, so here I am, I'm declaring a ball object. So just like I declared, int, xpos or whatever, I declare ball, the ball. right? And then now what I'm doing is I'm initializing the ball object, and I want to check the class and see, I want to remind myself what it's expecting, right? So I'm trying to highlight, line 7, and I can see that each ball object, when I initialize it, expects 2 integers. And so I'm going to go ahead and start the ball out in the same place it did before. And I can run it and nothing happens, right? I'm not actually using the methods in that class. And so just like before, if I hadn't called the functions, it wouldn't use them. And what I'm doing right now is I'm saying the ball dot display. This dot notation is what we use to call our methods on an object. That's the terminology for that. So I'm calling the display method on our object, which is called the ball. So now I'll say the ball dot move, and I'm calling the move method on the ball object. I'll do the same thing here, and I'm calling it the ball so that you get the idea that the ball is the object. If the class is the cookie cutter, then the object is the cookie, right? And so this is the thing that the class will give us. All right, now I'm going to make another one. So I'll say the other ball. All right, I've declared it, and now I need to initialize it, just like we would with a variable. So the other ball equals new ball. The notation for this is going to be weird for a long time. If you can just try not to stress out over that and just practice copying along with me, that would be great. All right, and so I'm giving it its initial positions, and now, we're not calling any of the methods on this particular ball. Remember, this is the other ball, it's a different one. So I'm going to call all 3 methods on the other ball. So I've displayed it, moved it, and let's edge check it as well. All right, and now we'll see 2 balls. There we go. And notice that they're behaving independently of each other. They're bouncing off the walls at different times, right? They could be going in different directions. They are separate balls. Now, your assignment after this tutorial is to just make another one show up. I want you to declare another ball, right? And then inside setup, I want you to initialize another ball. And you'll have to give it a different starting position, just like I did on the other ball. And then finally, down in the draw loop, I want you to call all 3 methods on this other ball. And once you get this done, you can go and play around with those methods and change things around if you want to. But for now, all I want you to do is to practice just declaring, initializing, and then using the methods of a class. Okay? This will open up a whole lot of new possibilities, and good luck. I'll see you next time.